Are we live?
You're live.
We are live. I was waiting for the point.
Yeah.
We've got an executive producer in here today.
Here's your point.
I don't have to have the computer in front of me. I'm sitting here going how I feel kind of like out of place without the computer, and then we still have an awkward start to the show.
You do.
Classic.
I think that has to be the PTP podcast start then. It's got to be awkward.
I like it. Actually, the PTP podcast start will be new, hopefully in 2 weeks, as we are revamping the intro video. That'll be a lot of fun. We want to welcome Matt today, who's actually getting on camera and has a mic in his hand. Comment, let us know if there's any sound quality issues. We're trying a new mic situation, so that's something that we'd like to know about. But Tommy, episode 3, season 2.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Almost made some money this weekend.
I made a little bit. I didn't bet big. I bet $1 on like everybody in the field.
Sam Burns was leading with 9 holes left to play at plus 1,400 and just makes a triple on the back 9. It was painful. It was just, they got my hopes up. And he did the same thing on Saturday. Makes this huge run, then finishes bogey double. Like, he gives up 6 shots and 3 holes on the back 9 over the last 2 days. And I was just like, why, Sam Burns? Why?
That triple bogey was like a car accident. I just could not turn away. I mean, I just watching him chip back and forth. I was like, oh my God. I play with 15 handicaps would be on the grid by now.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. We'll get into that in a couple of minutes. I want to start here. We have the QBE Shootout. We're in that kind of lull period of the PGA Tour season where, not much happens until the new year.
Yep.
And we've got a couple of cute little tournaments like this, the QBE Shootout, which is a partner tournament. And then we go into the PNC Championship. Shut up, phone. We go to the PNC Championship and then a couple other, just small tournament formats. So, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this today. It's at the Ritz-Carlton Golf Resort. I think last year, Harris English and his partner won. They're back again.
Matt Kuchar.
Yeah, it was English and Kuchar. I mean, you can bet this.
Yeah.
It's open for betting. Once again, not a big field. It's kind of a fun tournament where you've got people like Lexi Thompson playing with Bubba Watson and stuff like that. So for me, I'm just going with hot players in this situation. So I'm looking at guys like Sam Burns. I know we just talked about how he kind of fell apart, but him and Billy Horschel playing together as a nice team. You talked about that previously before we went on air. Sorry, I stole that from you.
Yeah.
I already said that, I'd love to be a fly on the wall following Max Homa and Kevin Kisner around. I think that'd be a fun group. Like one of the topics today is who's in your foursome. I think Kevin Kisner would be in my foursome if I was going to pick a bunch of people to play golf with. So, that's just where I'm at. But there's some good teams. Brian Harmon and Hudson Swafford would be probably a good bet to make with the odds, so I wouldn't shy away from that one. Who's Leishman playing with? Is he playing with? He's playing with Jason Day. Last year, I think he played with our boy, the Tennessee Top Hat, didn't he?
Yeah, that was a different partner tournament, but yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, I mean, I would just doubling down on my last week's picks, just picking again Harris English and his partner, Sam Burns and Billy Horschel. My real pick, Sam Burns, Billy Horschel. I think that's the strongest team of the teams I see. I like Harris English and Matt Kuchar was my second favorite. I didn't know they won last year, but then I think if I was going to go for a longer shot pick, I would go Corey Connors and Graham McDowell. Corey Connors has been kind of like Sam Burns, one of the most consistent players all of last year. Maybe wasn't a player of the year candidate, but definitely moved forward in his career. And I think that, it'd be a nice little, hey, I'm still here kind of thing. Come on.
Turn down the brightness on this computer.
Good luck.
Yeah, it's not working out.
Yeah, I think Corey Connors could carry Graham McDowell into a win maybe. So
I like Jason Kokrak and Kevin Na as well. Both guys.
Sneaky.
both guys had pretty good years last year. Not had a win early in the year. So Pratt, I just think there's a guy that's going to be consistent.
Multiple years, multiple wins last year.
So that's my my go-to pick. And I'll probably throw some money on Kisner and I think Kisner's the kind of guy who you play in a tournament like this. This is why I think he's a great Ryder Cup pick. Is that when you get into team formats, that he just reminds me of the kind of guy that's going to keep you light on the bag. Is also just probably one of those guys that's dull.
We absolutely destroyed them in the Ryder Cup, and you're still salty. Kisner didn't get picked.
I'm not salty.
You sound like Riggs.
He'd be a good Ryder Cup pick. What do you think, Matt? What do you got?
I got nothing for you, just knowledge-wise, but I know who I want to win is J-Day. I kind of want to see him get back to form because watching him play recently has been sad, and I want to see him play well.
He's a perfect example of a guy who just can't seem to stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think when he's healthy, he can be as good as anybody, but I don't think he's actually been fully healthy for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like we talked about with Brooks Koepka the other day. I think Brooks Koepka feels healthy for the first time since 2018.
Yeah.
And I think I've said he's going to win a major this year because he is healthy, and that's just what he does when he's healthy.
Yeah, he was a little disappointing on Sunday as well. Colin was the highlight of falling apart, and we'll get into that. But he didn't really show any move up towards the video at the end there.
You know, I don't want to say surprises me. What I think he falls into, he's the kind of guy that when it starts to get away from him, he just starts playing fast. Like he doesn't play slow to begin with. But I think he just picks up the tempo of his game so much that he's just like, okay, let's just get through this.
Right.
Like, okay, Hoblin's 20 under now, and I'm 12. Like,
and to his defense, I think I don't know if we're ready to get into what happened this weekend, but when you have a guy like Kawa, who's anytime that you're constantly searching for someone else's golf ball, it's really easy to get off track. Because I feel that way when I play in my league. If I'm playing with a 20 handicap that can't even follow, not even if I use 20 handicap, but he's like, where'd it go? The fact that you're constantly looking for someone else's ball, and I said it doesn't happen a lot on the PGA Tour, but twice in two holes, he's in a bush looking for some other guy's ball when he should be focusing on his shot.
Right.
And now all of a sudden he's got to go from searching for this guy's ball to being like, okay, now I have to hit this shot. It definitely can wear on you a little bit. It gets you out of rhythm. It gets you, he's clearly not developing momentum in the group. It's a lot. Sometimes it can be hard to play well when the other guy's playing so poorly. So I'm going to give him a pass on this one. It's not even a real event, so it's not going to be a big deal.
And I think that's part of where he gets that, okay, screw this. I'm just going to, hit and giggle a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's use that as our segue into the Hero World Challenge. Watched a lot of golf this weekend, and it was interesting. There was a lot of great golf and a lot of really bad golf.
Yeah.
There was not much consistency throughout the tournament. I don't know how much of it you watched.
I watched quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, I think I probably logged over 50 holes in the tournament.
Yeah.
So that's a good bit for me, unless it's a major, just because of work schedules and stuff like that. I usually try and go back and catch highlights and stuff like that if they're replaying it on Golf Channel, that too. But I was just kind of blown away. That's I saw 3 left-handed swings out of right-handed players on Sunday.
Yeah.
That alone is like, whoa, what is going on here?
Yeah, but that's down south golf, Florida, Caribbean, stuff like that, a lot can go wrong really fast.
Sure.
You look at those holes. It's fairway, a little bit of dirt, and then a bush. So, you hit it a little off. I know Morikawa hit 2 really offline shots, but there were a couple times I saw Patrick Reed go into a bush, and he was about 20 feet off the fairway. I think that's the hardest part of going down south is you hit it shorter. The courses generally aren't as long, but obviously it is there. And then and you have nowhere to hit it. So, it can get sideways real quick down there.
So Faraday was talking about it constantly, about Morikawa trying to play for that number 1 spot.
Yeah.
Obviously, most people that watch know if he would have won this weekend, he would be the #1 player in the world golf rankings.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking about that pressure coming down the stretch, and did that have something to do with it? I've never seen that guy play that off the hinges.
Yeah.
So, like,
you can see it in his face. It was.
Yeah. I mean, he shot 41 on the front. Now, I'm shooting way above 41 on the front. That's a number that I'm accustomed to on the front if I'm not playing great, right? So, like.
So to shoot 41 with 2 lost balls, not that bad.
But, not to get your first birdie until I think it was the 9th hole, the par 5 9.
No, he didn't birdie 9. He bogeyed 9.
That's right. He
Yeah.
He didn't have his first birdie until late in the round.
Yeah.
It was in the front line somewhere along the line. Matt, if you want to look up when he had his first birdie, that'd be great. I was really surprised. He's a guy that usually looks pretty unfazed. And doesn't seem to have issues like that. What's your take there?
I think I want to say it's because there might be some rust, but he's just came off winning, the race to Dubai. So it's not like a lot of these guys haven't touched a club I'm sure they've touched a club, but they haven't played competitively for over a month. He is, on the other hand, has been in playing just a few weeks ago and won a lot of money. But I mean, you talk about one of the things the broadcasters were talking about was Justin Thomas when he was trying to become world #1, and he was playing in, I believe it was the Dell Technology match play, and he was so focused on getting to, I don't know if he had to win, but he had to get so far in the tournament, become #1. He's playing Bubba Watson and gets absolutely smoked because he's trying to play to be #1, not playing Bubba Watson, And I think, and he learned that, even more so. And he said he learned from that because, he eventually obviously got over that hurdle and did become world #1. I think it's just one of those things that's just like for all these guys, it's such a lofty goal of theirs. And it's possibly even bigger than a major because a major is a 4-day thing. Like you could get hot for 4 days and win. And obviously you still have to be really good to do that. But
you see that every year where somebody kind of comes out of nowhere and wins a
yeah. Having world #1 means that you've played for it's a 2-year period. You've been the best golfer literally in the whole world. I mean, you have worked through this your whole life, everything, and you can literally say there is not a single human being on the planet that is better than this game than me. And I think that is just such world top number 10, top 100. Huge feats, but to be able to be like, I am literally the best at this game in the entire world is a very mind-boggling thing, and I think it's a lot to overcome, and he will get there. I mean, and I think the mistake that he probably made is, I need to do this right now. Like, this is the day I have to do this. I'm like, I think you needed to approach, obviously it's easier said than done. Just go out, play your game. If you don't get it today, you're more than likely going to get there because you've developed a lot of points over the last few years. Eventually, you're going to, like, who's in front of it right now? John Rahm, who hasn't played in 2 months. He's going to back his way into it at some point.
I thought he looked like he came out and was trying to protect the lead instead of play his game.
Yeah.
Like, watching it, it didn't look like he was being aggressive early in the round. He looked tentative with the putter, just things that you don't see a guy like that normally do. So that was what I thought I saw out of him. Matt, any take on Colin Morikawa?
Just from what I've heard from other players, not necessarily him, but world #1 means everything to them. Right. I mean, even in the LPGA, I heard Danielle Kang talking on a podcast where she said, yes, that's literally all I care about. I mean, winning, great. All the money, great.
But you have to win to get there, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. The money and the wins will come, but world #1 means everything.
Yeah.
And watching Tiger do that, I'm sure that makes him want it even more. 683 weeks.
When was his first birdie?
The 11th.
The 11th.
Well, one thing I was going to say that to your point though is, he was playing to protect the lead, but then at the same time on the 5th hole, he has mud on his ball. He had just made a double bogey with a lost ball, and he pulls 3-wood.
Sure. Yeah.
And he had 300 yards in. I'm like, you're not getting there anyway. What? Like, where is his caddy in that? This has to be like, all right, Colin, we already have one mistake. Let's not make it into 2.
Right. Let's not.
Let's hit 5-iron and hit you're a great wedge player. Like, I don't understand. And I get it. Like, the lead had evaporated quickly, and here's what I never understand about golf. All right. Like, I get it. It's a 6-shot lead. You're like, all right, if I go out and shoot even, I'm going to have a chance. But like, you've had a game plan for this course all week long. Why are we abandoning? It's because you have a lead. Like, continue to attack the course the same way. Maybe make a adjustment here or there. We're going to hit a shorter club off this tee, but I don't know. The wildest stat from this weekend was Victor Hoblin, though, and not the fact that he won, but 3 eagles on the same hole.
That is nuts. That is absolutely. Talk about a hole that fits your eye, right?
Jeez.
Like, talk about walking up to a hole and just knowing you're gonna shit on it. Like, I fuck this hole. It doesn't mean.
But he didn't even make a putt. He didn't putt on that hole 3 times.
It's insane. It's insane. But I mean, it's still a confidence thing, right? Like, even if you didn't putt on that hole, but you already hold out the first day, you're like, okay, I know I can do it here.
Oh my god, it's
right?
just crazy.
Like, I mean, it is. It's nuts. Let's talk a little bit about Victor Hoblin. I love that kid's just his whole demeanor, right? Like, you never see him get real up, you never see him get real down. The only time I saw him get mad was at the end of that round when Patrick Reed was fucking around in the sand right in the fairway. Did anybody see that?
Mm-mm.
Like, he dicked around for like what felt like 20 minutes trying to decide whether he was going to take a drop or not. And Faraday's like, I don't understand why he wants to take a drop. Like, if he drops it, it might plug. It's sitting up right now. Like, I don't know what he's doing. It felt to me like he was stalling.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it really did. Like, I'm going to make him wait.
I didn't see that.
And, you know, they made the comment that his caddy probably should have gone over and was like, hey, while you're trying to decide about this, we're going to go.
Mm-hmm.
Like, which is a normal thing. And Faraday was like, they just waited too long. Because caddy finally walked over and was like, what's going on? Mm-hmm. And you know, they were like, he's trying to decide whether he wants to take an unplayable or not. And it was weird. And they showed Hoblin a couple of times. He was just sitting there. He's like, and it's the only time I saw any type of emotion on the kid's face. He boned a birdie putt or a par putt on 17 that was like, oh my God, you're going to make this a game. And like, didn't look upset, you know, but he's waiting in the fairway on 18. It's like,
I mean, there was no guarantees on those last 2 holes. That's a tough closing stretch.
It is a tough
but
closing
the only time I didn't see that, the only time I've ever seen him get mad is at the Ryder Cup when him and JT got into it. That's the only time I've ever seen him get mad.
Let's talk a little bit about JT.
Yeah.
Played out of his mind on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Put himself back in contention. Looked like Justin Thomas on Sunday. Didn't look like Justin Thomas most of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday he did. What do you think Justin's going to do this year? How do you think he's going to play?
I mean, I don't want to put an overvalue on this week because, like I said, I put more value in what Colin did because he has been playing versus Justin Thomas, who hasn't played, whose most recent Instagram posts have been him watching college football on 5 TVs. You know, I mean, like, he's not been grinding. You know, he's definitely took a little bit of a break, but I mean, you never count him out because I mean, because he's lethal to go out and shoot 63, sub 63 any round of any tournament. And I don't care if it's a major. I don't care if it's a wherever. Like, he can go out and break it open anytime he wants.
So let's jump from there. Try and wrap up our Hero World Challenge talk and jump to kind of the comedy of the week, and that was Henrik Stenson and Jordan Spieth, just in general for the week. A guy I talked about last week, excited to see Spieth come back after having, you know, a better year last year.
Yeah, how'd that work out for you?
I didn't pick him.
Yeah.
I was interested to see how it clicked.
Yeah.
And he came out and really played miserable, couldn't get off the tee, and then really couldn't get off the tee on hole 9 on Sunday because they went to the wrong damn tee box. And then put together maybe the funniest post-round interview as a duo I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And if anybody doesn't get a kick out of Henrik Stenson in that interview, they just don't have a sense of humor.
Oh my gosh.
I heard you watching it a little bit before we started.
I didn't get to watch the whole thing, but yeah, I mean, they had a funny attitude about it. I guess when you're 20 shots back, you don't really care that much anyway. And at the end of the day, I mean, this is a real, like, Victor Hoblin gets a PGA Tour win for this week. It counts towards his resume and everything. But at the end of the day, Henrik Stenson or Spieth came in last and made $100,000. He got to spend a week in Bahamas and made $100K. Like, he's doing okay.
My entire take on it was straight up like, must be nice to drop $100K in the bank for a vacation.
Yeah.
Like he literally went on vacation and got paid $100K to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure as a professional golfer and as somebody who's won majors and as somebody that is looking to have a good year, he wasn't happy about the way he played. But I mean, you got to think on the way home, he's going, well, at least I made some money this weekend. And that's just absurd.
Yeah, no, but yes and no. He's earned his right to be in this tournament. You know what I mean? I feel the same way about WGC events. A lot of those don't have cuts, but they show up. You're in the top 75 of the world. You get a guaranteed paycheck. Yep. You get a chance to move up a lot.
I have no problem with him getting paid. I don't like that. That's not.
But I mean, even with the World Golf Rankings, I think, I thought maybe a little absurd that Colin could take it over as number one in the tournament where no one else could, where a lot of guys couldn't even participate in. But at the same time, those who'd be fighting for number one have also earned the right to be there. So why not? Right.
All right, let's move on from the hero. Happy for Victor Hoblin, a guy we like on the podcast a lot. Looking forward to watching him play this year. I think he wins multiple times this year. I really do. He's just has that kind of game, has that kind of approach. The next
Maybe another guy that's going to win a major this year, Victor Hoblin? Or you think he's still got some growth before that?
He's certainly capable of winning a major this year. He's not on my card as a guy. Like if somebody asked me to pick the 4 majors right now, he's not going to be one of the guys I pick.
Yep.
So I mean, that doesn't
Victor Hovland, 150th Open champion.
Think
Bang,
so?
right there. Write it down.
Write it down. Put it in what? Tiger's not going to win that?
Nope. Get out of here. And if not him, Matt Wallace, because I said he'd win an Open in the next 10 years. So
I know.
Matt Fitzpatrick.
No.
He hates Matt.
I know he does. That's why I said it.
I think Robert McIntyre might have a shot at it this year.
It's also very
That'd be
fair.
awesome.
So, all right, let's move on. The next topic on the list was golf video games. But let's jump to the WG or the World Golf Rankings before we go to that because we're kind of talking about that. I don't want to just jump topics.
Yeah.
They need to fix the World Golf Rankings. So I don't think an event with 20 players like this is it feels more like a charity event to me.
Right.
Okay, like a WGC event, like okay, 75 players. Okay, we're getting more players. Like you wanna give points for that. I'm okay, but I'm still a little weary of that too. A 20-player tournament is not a tournament that should be giving points to the World Golf Rankings, in my opinion.
So the Tour Championship with 30 shouldn't either?
That's different because it's a playoff.
Okay, but these guys have earned their way to be there. You could almost look at it that way. By being in the top 25, they've earned a chance to get some more points and some more money. They've earned it over the course of a year or over the course of their careers. The Tour Championship people have earned it over the course of one season.
And I think that is why I think that's okay. All right. In this situation, like it's an invite type of situation. The Tour Championship you earn.
You only get invited if you're in the top 25 in the world.
Fair.
So in case you've earned it by being in the top 25 in the world.
I still
and if anything,
in mid-December,
you should argue. I could argue that it's even should be more valued for World Championship or World Golf Rankings because only the top guys are there.
I don't agree. I think it's too small of a sample size to put towards something that you're ranking every player in the world.
We won't see another tournament with those 20 guys at a tournament again until the Masters of the Players.
Agreed.
So
100%.
That's all I'm saying.
But I'm just speaking my opinion. Matt, any input on this?
Yeah, I do, and this might stir some debate here, but
please do.
So you said, this shouldn't be worth a lot of, if any, World Golf Ranking points. How about more points than the European Tour final? That is literally worth more points than the European Tour. I don't know.
That's wrong, in my opinion. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is what I'm talking about.
It goes back to what we were talking about with the minor leagues of golf.
Right.
That's that same debate.
With the World Golf Rankings, okay, so the World Golf Rankings, that this tournament is worth more than winning the European Tour Championship.
I think that's wrong. Yeah.
First place Victor Hovland gets more points than first place Colin Morikawa. Yes.
See, that's crazy.
That isn't right in my opinion. I don't know how it works out, but I think it should be viewed as like a B tournament. So like when they have like an opposite field tournament for the guys who
Right.
don't qualify for like the Open or something. It should be equal to that. I don't know if it's. I don't know
See,
if those are worth the same amount of
I
points.
actually think that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
I think that there need to be classifications of tournaments, right?
Mhm.
So, like, obviously, the 4 majors jump, right? Like, they're the A+ tier, right? And then you can have A tier tournaments, right? Like, they don't need to be a major to be an A tournament, but like, if your field is 30 or less players, even if they're the top 20, I don't think it should be an A tier tournament. I think that it should be a tournament that you can still get points for it.
Yeah.
But it certainly shouldn't take over another area in the world's tour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Championship.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I definitely think there could be adjustments to it. I'm just saying, I don't think it's as big of a travesty as what you're saying it is, just because of the quality of people there, I think, and it's kind of a rite of passage thing. But
Travis is not exactly.
I definitely think
like that's getting a little.
I definitely think that the fact that a summit tournament, a championship, something you've been working through all year, should be worth a lot more than, hey, by the way, you are in the top 25. You can come to the Bahamas for a week.
Well, and not just that. So here's another way to look at this. So like Jordan Spieth got points for the World Golf Rankings.
Yeah,
and shot 9 over, or worse. I forget what he finished.
Something bad.
It was
Six
over. Okay, so like if he does that in a full field tournament, he's not making a cut.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So he's not getting points in a real tournament. So that's why I don't think that those tournaments should be set at the same level. How's that?
For sure. But I just feel the same way about WQCs, though, because like a lot of them, there's no cuts. So, I mean, it's just, I think it's just a perk of playing well over the course of a year. I think it's something that you've earned the right to, hey, here's some free money or some free points because you've done so well, you've contributed to the game, you get this. Yeah.
All right.
I just think that that's something they've earned and if any professional feels that bad about it, find your way in the top 25 then. I don't know.
I got that.
Yeah.
All right. I like I said, everybody obviously is going to have their
maybe I'm playing devil's advocate a little bit, but like I definitely.
No, I said, I don't it's not the worst thing in the world that they get points. They just shouldn't get as many as they are getting for being there.
It's fair.
All right, now let's move on to some topics that are a little more outside of the PGA. Want to talk a little bit about golf video games. So this came up in a conversation with a couple of friends here recently where golf video games have kind of like turned into just an insane category, right? So
we're not including simulator golf in this. This is just strictly you have a controller or whatever.
We have a controller or whatever. So I got in the argument that I believe that Golden Tee is the greatest golf video game to ever exist in any way, shape, or form because of the fact that you actually have to have touch.
Yeah.
Okay, so the fight was that like Tiger and the new PGA Tour 2K games are phenomenal. And I agree, they're great. But once you master the strokes, you're going to be good at it, right? I've met people who've never been able to become good at Golden Tee. Like they just don't have the touch. I feel like Golden Tee is almost more of a sport than a video game. I'm curious your thoughts.
I think if we're looking at it, you have Golden Tee, you have 2K, and then you have Tiger. You got to throw Tiger out the window because they're guys who've never played golf in their life that can go out and shoot 52 every single round of Tiger because they can. All they have to do is hit it straight and spin it, and they can spin it whatever way they want. I think the new 2K is a lot harder than Golden Tee, in my opinion. And my favorite part about it is it's so realistic to playing real golf. Like it is hard. Dude, I don't play many video games to be fair, but when quarantine, I played a lot more video games when quarantine was a thing than I did my entire life. And I've never got past medium difficulty, and I'm still struggling to shoot under par, and Golden Tee is, I agree, you can play shots, like you can curve the ball, you can take some off, you can hammer it, you can do whatever, but it's not realistic though at the same time. I mean, like you're hitting driver 400 yards sometimes, and you're hitting it over a canyon and all this, but I see your point. But I would think that there's just as much difficulty to. I'll give you the short game. I think the short game in 2K is still like, if you want, you can hit a pitch shot versus a chip and it hits and stops and you're right there. But right next to the hole. And putting is probably a lot easier too. But man.
So I agree that
are we saying
2K is a different level. So I've played that game a lot and it is extremely difficult.
Mm-hmm.
What I tried to do when I was having this conversation was think about when I first played Golden Tee compared to when I first played 2K, right? When I first played Golden Tee, the fact that you just have a ball, right? And you have to learn how to use that ball in so many different ways in comparison to looking at like 2K where you have all these other options to make yourself better, right? Like,
yeah, you can simplify the
exactly. So like, but that, I mean, I think 2K is up in the game quite a bit. Don't get me wrong, but I still think that I'm still.
I like your argument. I like your argument. When I first played 2K, I was just like, or not 2K. When I first played Golden Tee, I was just looked at this and I was like, I don't even know how to hit the ball forward. Like, it takes time to literally understand what you're doing, and then it's like, all right, I've learned how to hit the ball straight. Now, what are all these other 8 options I can do? Oh, and now I have to pick my spin type, and then it's like, it takes time. You have to develop the skill to use the different shots, use the different spin. Then you start talking about building your bag and how can you do that. And there's a lot into it. But at the same time, once you develop that skill, which I know you're an exception because I saw you have 12,000 birdies in your life last time we played. That's not an exaggeration. It went through his career stats, and he had over 12,000 birdies, which made me think, wow, Ty, just get a life. But
it's way more than that because it didn't always keep track.
Yeah. So
I'm old enough that it didn't keep track.
So, but I mean, but eventually, if you put the hours in, you can shoot 20 some under. If you shoot 59 on the hardest level at 2K, like, you should probably pick up golf because that's pretty impressive. Like,
I do. I think okay. So tell me if I have this right. 2K is more similar to actual golf and difficulty.
Yeah.
That's just the grinder coming to cut down the. So, and then Golden Tee is where you're sitting and going, okay, you can master it and you'll be fine.
Right. Yeah.
All right. I like it.
But I agree with your official point. Is if you took a person on the easiest level of 2K and said, here's your controller, figure it out, and then you put them in front of a Golden machine, even from the front tees, easiest setup possible, they're probably going to have a better chance at 2K.
All right. Let's move on. Next, who's in your foursome? So I'm hoping Matt comes back for this because I'd be interested to hear. So you can pick another 3 guys. It doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter where they are in life. They could be dead. It doesn't matter. If you could pick 3 guys to go play 18 holes with, who would it be?
Well, I'm just going to leave Tiger out of the equation because that's like the obvious answers. You're going to throw Tiger in, or if you wanted to go like Arnold, Jack, Tiger, like, okay, no shit. But when I put this together earlier, I'd said Tiger, Ricky, Phil. But then I thought, that's too obvious. I would love to just replace Smiley Kaufman on a Bermuda trip and just be like, I could be Smiley Kaufman for them. Like JT, Spieth, and Ricky. Just shirtless, after I continue to work out. Shirtless in the Bahamas, no shoes, just playing golf, getting ripped, just playing music, and now we can all bring the wives, and just have a great time. That would be, to be a part of that trip would be, I mean, you're still talking about 3 really good golfers. I would love to meet all of them anyway. Yeah. So just to be a part, if you're taking Tiger out of the equation, because like all of us are going to say Tiger in some, level, I would think. I would say just throw me in. I'll be Smiley Kaufman for a week. I would love that.
I love that answer. That's a great take. I would be right there with you. I think that's a really fun group to play some golf with. Mm-hmm. I think the Tiger factor is obviously there. Mm-hmm. I certainly would throw him in the foursome just because he's Tiger. I think Tiger, Jack, and Arnie, all 3 of them are guys that I just exclude from this question because if they're not in your all-time foursome, then you're really not trying.
You're not a real golfer,
right? So I guess this would almost be the second tier of foursome, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, a couple for me. I mean, it doesn't even need to be a PGA player as far as I'm looking at.
Yeah,
right. Like
somebody you want to go play golf with. I thought about Michael Jordan for that reason, but
that's exactly where I was going to go. I think it would be a ton of fun to play golf and lose a ton of money to Michael Jordan, because it sounds like even if I beat him, he'd find a way to get money out of my pocket.
Right. Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
So I mean, Michael Jordan was one that I had written down when I put this together. I just think playing with someone like Max Homa would be a ton of fun.
Yeah.
He seems like a guy that has a good time.
I'm just not a Twitter guy, so like I'm not as big a fan of his as some other people, but I know a lot of people aren't big fans.
I just enjoy guys who don't take themselves too seriously.
Yeah.
Especially in a game that is so difficult and so easy to get overly serious about. Guys that can poke a little fun at themselves and do it, in front of everybody.
Right. Yeah.
And then, I really struggled with the fourth or the third guy, I should say.
Well, your guy Kiz.
Well, yeah, but I've said that before on here. Right?
Yeah.
Like I try not to go back over it over and over again, but he's obviously one of the guys. But this.
You telling me you and Kevin Kisner just pounding beers on a golf course wouldn't be like that's got to be ideal for you?
With a giant chew in it.
Yeah, I mean, come on now.
But on that same line, I love Duffner. I think playing around a golf with Duffner would just be so much fun. Just cracking jokes, making fun of people.
Yeah.
I feel like he'd be a good time. So
I saw something recently. I don't know if it's real, but he has his own like instructional video now, and it's just called "How Duff Does It."
That is fantastic.
I don't know if it's real or if it was like a fake infomercial, but it supposedly I may have to get Matt to search it now, but supposedly you can get a video called "How Duff Does It."
Oh my god, that's awesome!
And it's just him like posing, but like he's not impressive because he's Jason Duff.
He's the Duff.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh,
all right, so last question today. Last thing we'll talk about is favorite golf memory. Let me preface this a little differently. It doesn't need to be your best accomplishment, right? So obviously like winning a tournament, stuff like that would be favorite golf memories. I'm looking for more of a emotional connection to a memory, right? Like, just anything that stands out when you think about something that was great in your golf life, or was something that you may never experience again, but you got to do it.
Yeah.
What's yours?
Well, I'm gonna go three. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it kind of. I'm gonna say favorite golf memory, personally golfing, like a shot or something.
Okay.
Then a tournament, then overall golf memory.
All right.
So first would be, and it's obvious, it was both my albatross and my hole-in-one. And I've probably talked about it before on here, but my hole-in-one was the same day my partner also made a hole-in-one, which is nuts.
Yeah.
So those would be like my favorite single shot memories. Winning my first member at Ben Creek was my favorite golf competitive memory, because that to me kind of helped me take my game to a next level, because I was like, oh crap, like I can actually like do this, finish something out and actually win it. But my favorite golf memory was getting to bring my dad to the Ryder Cup this year, 100%. And for those who don't know, my dad has been playing golf since he was, a kid. He helped me start this store. He helped financially start this store. And to be able to buy his ticket to go to the Ryder Cup and to see his reaction was pretty awesome. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So mine's a simple one. We'll wrap up the show here. We're going on 40 minutes now. When my best friend got out of the military, or I believe he was still in, I went down on New Year's Eve to hang out with him and play golf. And at the time, Drew was awful, just awful at golf. And we took all these videos of us on the course. And I was okay at the time. I think I was like an 8. And he was just, duffing it all over the place, having a rough time. But I go back, my best friend's passed away. He's been passed away for a couple of years now. And being able to go back and relive those memories through those videos is just one of the greatest moments that I had as on a golf course. We're there watching him struggle and be like irritated and scream and yell and just be the guy that he is. And I wouldn't golf as much as I do now or be as interested if he wouldn't have been as interested in it. And I'm just glad that it's something that I get to continue to carry on even without him around. So that's my golf memory. Dan is helping Matt is helping customers. So anything you want to plug here before we sign off?
No, we got about 3 weeks left to Christmas, a little less than 3 weeks actually. We are doing a couple of different things here in store. We have a bunch of in-stock sales going on. Also, for every $25 you spend in store, you get an entry into a Scotty Cameron Phantom X11 that we're giving away. So if you haven't been down to the store yet, come in, check us out. It's probably the best savings you're going to get all year, and also an opportunity to win a really cool putter just for supporting small business. You can check us out online at Pull the Pin Lank on Instagram. Ty runs our Twitter with the Pull the Pin podcast, Facebook, Pull the Pin Lank as well. And if you're ever in the market for clubs, be sure to check out our website, pullthepinlancaster.com. You can schedule a fitting right on the website.
All right. I want to thank the Painted Lines, as usual, for hosting us on their YouTube channel. You can catch us on Sundays for Eagles post game. That's where I'll be next. Actually, I might do like a little mini pod here at some point. We made it the entire way through a podcast without talking about Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
Tiger Woods is going to play in the PNC Championship. I'm
That's
just going to guarantee it. He hit 4 million balls during the tournament.
I had to laugh at that. I thought that was a little obnoxious of him to be like, oh, by the way, while the final round's going on, I'm going to go to the back of the range wherever, and then I'm going to hit balls. And that's all I need. Like, a lot of people were just talking about that. He's like, I'm just going to, you guys can come to my tournament, but I'm going to go hit balls, and they're really going to focus on that.
Not to go too deep into it, but the fact of the matter is, if that is how much a guy is practicing that's planning on playing a part-time schedule, like, I don't know, man. Like, I think he's done a really good job of underselling expectations, and he's looking to outperform them. Thank you to the Painted Lines, and we will be back next week. You can find me at PTP2021 on Twitter or at TyBook3. Thank you to Matt, our executive producer, who is helping customers. Thank you to Tommy and Pull the Pin for hosting as usual. And we will see you next week.
Yep.